Special Labor Day broadcast of the Red Hot Breakfast Show. This is a public holiday in many parts of the world, including over here in Zambia. International Labor Day is observed to honor the contributions of the working class and promote their rights. The day pays tribute to the sacrifices of workers in securing economic and social rights around the world. This day is also known as Global Workers' Day or May Day, and we're so glad that you could join us for this special broadcast. And we're coming to you live from Hot Media House here in Lusaka and syndicating to various other radio partners across the country. I'm your host, Chromes, alongside Peasy and Legacy, and together we are the trio.
And as indicated earlier, we're joined on this special broadcast by Honorable Brian Mundubile. He's the Tonse Alliance 2026 elections flag bearer, and he is just concluding his term as Mporokoso Member of Parliament. Honorable Mundubile will be sharing with us the Tonse Alliance's agenda for jobs and protection of workers' rights. Now, you also have a chance to engage with our guest this morning by asking some, questions and making some comments.
All right, and right now allow us to welcome Honorable Mundubile to this RHB special broadcast. Good morning, sir, and welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here this morning. Good morning to you.
Glad you could join us. We teased you a bit about getting you out of bed early on a holiday.
Oh, it's Labor Day.
Yeah.
I had to join the workers.
Right.
We woke up early in the morning to celebrate this special day.
The work continues, isn't it? Now, we're glad that you're here with us, even on a public holiday. Ordinarily, you should be resting with family, but I guess the season we're in means you have to spend time with people like us to speak to the nation on such an important occasion. So May 1st can be traced back to the Haymarket Affair of 1886 in Chicago. Workers took to the streets demanding an 8-hour workday, a protest that unfortunately turned violent due to a bomb blast and subsequent police action. In 1889, the International Federation of Socialist Groups and Trade Unions designated May 1st as a day for workers to commemorate the Chicago protests and advocate for labor rights globally. Now, with that history in mind, Honorable Mundubile, what is your personal view on the concept of labor? Let's start with that.
Well, like you've read out the history that commemorates the protests that happened so many years ago. Yes, this day and the concept of labor is the day that we sit to reflect upon the plight of our workers, the plight of our laborers. We seek to appreciate the contribution that they make to the development of a country like Zambia. So today, we are reflecting upon the plight of our civil servants, the plight of our mine workers, the plight of our domestic workers, our security guards, the labor force across the sectors. And what comes to mind are the many challenges that they face. Many a time they cry out to bring out exactly what they're going through. And sometimes they feel largely ignored. So today is the day that we all summon our faculties to ensure that we listen to them. And the expectation is that from that conversation, governments, employers that come up with policies for these workers are supposed to change the course and give new hope to our workers. At Tonse, we believe that employment is the primary metric for economic success. And because we believe that employment is the primary metric for economic success, we put a lot of focus on the workers, a lot of focus on our laborers. They say that you don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. In this particular case, there can be no meaningful development. There can be no fight against poverty without employment. But then the question is, what sort of employment are we talking about? Today, we have what we call the working poor. Employment is created. people are working, and yet poor. So these are some of the things that we are reflecting on as Tonse on this special day.
Honorable Mundubile, I want you to just take us back a little bit here and do a personal reflection. You've spoken publicly before how you chose entrepreneurship early on in your life, but you must have been, employed at some point in your work life. Just kindly share a bit about your employment history.
Yes, I once worked for the Zambia Privatization Agency. I was working under a consultancy firm, a UK-based company called GY Associates. Yes, my work involved looking at the social and economic impact of privatization in Zambia. So I was involved in engaging privatized companies. We looked at the pre-privatization performance and the post-privatization performance. We basically focused on the impacts that privatization had. I had a lot of meetings with workers, focus group discussions, to just look at those particular aspects. Yeah, so I worked there for 3 years, and maybe I was lucky. I guess I was lucky. It was a well-paid job. I was very comfortable, as I worked there, well-paid and all that. It was from there that when the contract came to an end, I was able to start up a business and went all the way with it. Yes, so that was my short experience in my work life, so to speak. But of course, even when I went out to do business, I still consider myself as a worker. This is where we had formalized self-employment. I was reporting for work like any other person. I was not going to work as the owner of the company. I was going to work as a worker of that particular company. So I reported to work, and I did everything else that every other employee did. So besides that former employment that I had, I also worked in a setup in a company that I was a member of, but I was also a worker in that company.
Okay. Well, if you just tuned in, this is a special Labor Day interview with Honorable Brian Mundubile here on the Red Hot Breakfast. Stay tuned.
From 6 to 9 hours.
Just need to clear these ads.
At Mika Hotels, everything is taken care of. And all you have to say is, I do. Celebrate at Chamba Hotel. Mika
No, it's
Lodge
just the
Disney,
advert that's low. So.
Mika Hotel Kablonga, or Mika Convention Center, where every detail is designed to impress. Enjoy free indoor and outdoor venues, a complimentary honeymoon suite,
We're quite short, so.
a free photo shoot venue, a free marriage blessing venue, and a 50% off your first anniversary honeymoon suite. Book your dream wedding today. Call 0961 876 570 or email us at reservations@mikahotels.com. Mika Hotels, where quality meets comfort and where forever begins.
Oh, what the bad thing when everything is bright and gold.
Yeah, everyone's birthday is my birthday. But guess what? When my banja comes together,
Banja washing honor, the family detergent. Zambia, the wait is over. Super Sport Bet is here. This is where sports fans play and champions are made. Get closer to the action, my guy. Watch, play, and win. Join today and get 10 free flights on Aviator Plus. Catch the best odds with super boosts on your favorite matches. Don't just watch the game, play like a champion. Sign up like a boss today at supersportbet.com. Terms and conditions apply. Bet responsibly, no under 18s. Red Hot Breakfast from 6 to 9 hours.
Good morning. Still listening to the Red Hot Breakfast with PLC. It's a special Labor Day edition with Honorable Brian Mundubile. Now, this year's Labor Day in Zambia Labor Day theme is securing Zambia's future for work, protecting jobs, skills, and pensions for decent work for all. Now, the national celebrations will be held in Chinsali, and President Hichilema is scheduled to officiate. Honorable, what is your interpretation of this theme?
Yes, I think this is a very good theme. I was commenting to someone yesterday that The government may have picked it from the Tonse Alliance manifesto, and I was very happy about that. Nothing wrong. We're here to provide alternative policy. Like I said earlier, when you look at employment, employment is the primary metric for economic success. So meaning that workers play a pivotal role in our developmental trajectory. So when we talk about securing Zambia's future of work, protecting jobs, skills, and patience for decent work for all, really this should be the goal. Because where we are, we really can't talk about having protected jobs. We are looking at skills, for instance, in the health sector today. It makes very sad reading to see that many of our doctors, young doctors, professionals, who graduated some years back are still on the street. They've actually been volunteering, some of them have been volunteering for a couple of years and haven't had an opportunity to be absorbed. So these are highly skilled professionals that have stayed behind whilst their friends have gone across the borders to look for the greener pastures. They've stayed behind to volunteer and give a service, and yet not given a chance to serve. When you look at workers in the mines, you find that they've got a job quite all right, but they are not leading a dignified life because they're not getting enough for a decent life as that. So as we look at all these things, we at Tonse are looking at how best we can protect that miner working for this big mining house that is posting and boasting about their profitability in international magazines whilst they remain poor. We are saying we can't continue complaining. We've got to come up with practical solutions to help these workers. And among the solutions would be to set up what we're calling sectoral minimum wages. You see, when you're coming up with minimum wages, they can't be general because sectors are different. So when you talk about sector minimum wages, for instance, allow me to give an example of the mining sector in this particular case, because mining is our mainstay. Our miners, those drivers in the mines, driving and operating different types of equipment, deserve decent wages, decent salaries. So government should be able to come up through the Ministry of Mines with what we are calling sectoral minimum wages that guarantees a minimum wage to a worker regardless of who the employer is within the sector. Because what's happening is that how our workers are exploited in these various sectors. Most of the mining houses are not mining directly. They are outsourcing the mining function to subcontractors so that they don't take the blame for underpayment in terms of wages and so on. So once you have sectoral minimum wages, it doesn't matter who the employer is, whether it's the main mining house or the subcontractors. You have guaranteed a minimum wage to a driver regardless of who the employer is, but within the sector. You'd have guaranteed a minimum wage to a cleaner regardless of who the employer is. So this is one way that we will protect our workers. And of course, when you talk about protecting jobs and skills, we need to employ what we are calling a merit-based recruitment approach. Once we do that, we will not have a situation where a doctor who graduated from the medical school 7 years ago is still unemployed, yet other doctors who graduated maybe just last year and volunteered for a few months are in employment. So these are some of the areas that we're looking at, and those are the few examples we're drawing from this year's theme of Labor Day.
Honorable Mundubile, how would you describe the state of labor in Zambia presently?
Well, our average worker is stressed. An average worker is stressed. One, they are overtaxed. Number two, they are wages have stagnated for a very long time. You've heard of things like debt swap. So an average civil servant is owed money by government through unpaid allowances, leave days, and many other outstanding payments like that. And because they may have relied or banked on those particular payments to do certain things, they were forced to go and borrow, sometimes borrowing from Shylocks out of desperation. So you find that today they're actually getting negative pay. Their pay slips are negative. So an average worker is overtaxed. They're highly indebted, as it were. So there is need to give relief to these workers, be it civil servants and those in the private sector. So we are saying to the civil servants that the implementation of the debt swap will be amongst our top priorities to ensure that we give relief. At the same time, we'll look at wage growth so that the wages are adjusted to respond to the lived realities of the ground. And at the same time, we will look at expanding the opportunities through industrialization. The reason why the average worker is heavily taxed is because the employment levels are low and government is milking the few workers that are there to try and get the taxes out of them. So to be able to give relief, we must expand or enlarge the opportunities through industrialization. That way, the government will be able to collect the desired levels of revenue through taxation, but using a wider base. Yes, so those are some of the things that we look at. And of course, like I said before, you have the working poor. We are going to look at stabilizing the middle class. We look at a dignified working middle class. And this will come, like I said earlier, through tax relief and wage growth. We want to reduce on welfare dependency, because as a government, the focus should not necessarily be on increasing the budget year by year of welfare, social protection, increasing welfare dependency. I think there is need to ensure that the citizens who can be employed, who can be offered employment because they are trained, because they are skilled, and they're still energetic, should be given an opportunity to work. Getting back to what we said earlier, that the primary metric for economic success is actually employment.
Now, is there a number stated in your manifesto as to how many jobs will be created during your administration?
We're not throwing numbers in a vacuum. We're looking at numbers sector by sector. Examples that I would have would look at, for instance, the agriculture sector. We will look at the mining sector. We will look at creative arts. We will look at the digital economy. If you peruse through the manifesto, you find that sector by sector, we actually made provision. The estimates are that in agriculture sector, we will come up with around 300,000 jobs. In the mining sector, there should be well over 300,000 jobs. Creative arts, 95,000 jobs. Digital economy, 95,000 jobs. So sector by sector, and we've been able to explain how we arrive at these numbers as it were. Yes.
Since we're looking at promises, Honorable Mundubile, and talking about promises, let's listen to then opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema, talking just before the 2021 elections on how, if elected, his government will deliver jobs.
Not to lose hope. Keep your hopes, because we know, we believe that help is on the way. What we need is a change of government to the new PAP. Then we'll bring credibility, new vision, new thinking. We will, as UPND, once you give us your mandate, come to August 2021, tomorrow, we will create an economic revolution. Number one, we will create an economic revolution. Zambia, number two, will witness the greatest economic recovery that the African continent has ever seen. Number three, when we achieve our vision, As we achieve our vision, there will be jobs. There will be jobs. There will be jobs. There will be more jobs. There will be businesses. Then there will be support for the weak in society. Who are they? The children, the orphans, the sick, the old, the disadvantaged in society. We will take care of all of these. That's our promise. That's our commitment to the people of Zambia. We need to agree that you can't ask those who have destroyed the economy to fix it. We will fix the economy, not the PF. The PF have destroyed it, our duty is to fix it. I want to thank the people of Zambia for being resilient, for being strong, for being survivors. But you've suffered enough. Let us try change.
Up there speaking is then in opposition, President Hakainde Hichilema speaking to jobs in 2021. Honorable Mundubile, what do you make of these promises almost 5 years later?
Well, what's very clear from the clip that we played is that my dear brother, President Hakainde Hichilema, he had a passion. The passion was very evident in his speech. But maybe what was not clear, what he may not have thought about, was the how that was going to create these jobs. What we picked from there was there will be jobs, there will be jobs, there will be jobs. Yeah, so the difference with the Tonse Alliance manifesto looks at moving women and youths from the margins. You know, we're moving them from the margins of the manifesto to the center of the policy and economic transformation. The difference here is that many a time governments come up with policies in a vacuum. And these policies sometimes do work. But in the case of Tonse, we first of all have a Zambian at the center. We have Nakulu Mutinda representing a poor rural woman with her children, with her grandchildren. So when we are coming up with these policies to create employment, we actually have people in mind. We are just not coming up with policies that favor investment and hope that they'll create employment. That's the difference. The policies can be crafted, and good policies are that. And then there is hope that they'll create employment. In our case, the Zambian is no longer at the margins. They're actually at the center of the policy and economic transformation. Meaning that if we are talking about policies in the agricultural sector, the starting point is a Zambian at the center and how exactly they're going to benefit. That is how we are able to come up with estimates of numbers that numbers of jobs that will be created with these particular policies. Yeah, so when you ask me about some of these promises that are made, like I said, the passion was evident, but maybe the president, my dear brother, needed to go further to put the Zambian at the center of this policy formulation.
We have Honorable Brian Mundubile. He is the president of the Tonse Alliance. And this is a Labor Day special interview that we're having with him. Very soon, we'll allow you to give us a call on 0974-870-877 if you have a question or a contribution. You can also send a voice note to that number. So make sure that you send that through.
Easy noodles just got bigger. Now available in 120 grams.
Looking to connect to Solwezi, Zambia's thriving mining hub? Your journey just got easier. Zambia Airways now offers 6 weekly flights to Solwezi, keeping you connected every day except Tuesdays. Traveling for business, industry, or connecting with family, skip the long drives, save time, pay less. With enhanced onboard service, warm hospitality, and reliable schedules. Book your seat today. To secure your ticket, call 0211 431 500. Visit www.zambia-airways.com. Visit our sales office or your preferred travel agent. Zambia Airways, the new wings of Africa.
Looking for high-quality automotive parts at affordable prices? Choose Denso. And Automotive Equipment Limited is Denso's authorized distributor in Zambia for spark plugs and filters, wiper blades, and more. Denso is your trusted global brand known for reliability and performance. For more information, WhatsApp Automotive Equipment Limited on 0975-813323 or visit our website at www.aelzn.com. Denso delivers quality you can count on.
Automotive equipment, because you deserve quality.
The news headlines every second hour are sponsored by Swan Insurance Zambia. For you, for them, for life. Swan, for life.
Outgoing United States Ambassador to Zambia, Michael Gonzalez, has expressed disappointment over persistent corruption in the country and the government's failure to take action against those involved, particularly in critical sectors such as health. Petroleum expert Dr. Kafula Muvanga says the 4-kwacha 21 ngwe increase in the pump price of diesel from 29 kwacha 78 ngwe to 33 kwacha 99 ngwe for May 2026 is artificial, stating that the actual increment is closer to 9 kwacha when factoring in government-backed tax exemptions. A coalition of civil society organizations has warned that the government's decision to cancel RightsCon 2026, which was set to begin on May 5th in Lusaka, reflects a broader pattern of democratic backsliding, particularly regarding freedoms of expression and assembly. Now, China will scrap tariffs for all African countries from today except Eswatini, which maintains ties with Taiwan. And veteran coach Dean Winde has urged the Zambian Premier League to introduce more cup competitions beyond the AFSA Cup and the Samuel Zoom Lovu Charity Shield, which are currently the only elite knockout tournaments in the country.
Hot FM. The heat is on. I have spent years in leadership and I've learned this. Leadership isn't about title. It isn't about responsibility. Africa is at a defining moment, but access and opportunity do not always meet. That is why we created the C-Suite Africa Summit. On the 23rd of May at Cielo Resort in Zambia, we are bringing together leaders who are building, deciding, and shaping what comes next. A curated room, high trust, real conversations that drive real outcomes. I'm Komba Maluftila, founder of the C-Suite Africa Summit. To secure your seat, visit www.csuiteafrica.com or call 0969 188 659. I'll see you on the 23rd of May.
Are you ready for something bigger, more strategic, and more commercially impactful than ever before? Join the Insurance Association of Zambia Insurance Conference 2026, taking place 16th to 19th June 2026 at the beautiful Radisson Blu Monsieur Tunya Livingston Resort. This year introduces an exciting new highlight, the IAZ Business Forum, focusing on strategic business opportunities between Zambia and Tanzania under the 3I concept: investment, insurance, and innovation. With the support of the Pensions and Insurance Authority of Zambia, Insurance Brokers Association of Zambia, and the Insurance Institute of Zambia, the conference will feature engaging conference sessions, a meaningful CSR activity, and a glamorous gala dinner and awards night. Register today and enjoy the early bird rate of just 12,000 kwacha before 20th April 2026. Standard registration is 13,500 kwacha and late registration is 16,500 kwacha from 16th June 2026. Don't miss this premier industry event. Secure your seat today at the IAZ Insurance Conference 2026 in Livingston.
Hot FM, the red hot breakfast is here. Zambia, turn it up.
Good morning. The Labor Day weekend is finally upon us, and you need to make it more than just a break. Make it an escape. You can do that by celebrating at Chamiluka with a full board lodge experience designed for pure relaxation, adventure, and unforgettable moments in nature. From scenic game drives and sunset boat cruises to horseback safaris and exceptional dining, every moment is yours to enjoy. 3,600 kwacha per person per night if you're booking one night, or the special 2,800 kwacha per person per night for a minimum stay of 2 nights. We'll give you accommodation, bed and breakfast, Chamanuka signature buffet lunch, dinner, activities like your game drive, boating, fishing, cheese with wine tasting, horseback riding, as well as a bushwalk. So it's time for you to slow down, reconnect, and indulge in a long weekend that truly rewards you for all that hard work. Because hard work deserves a beautiful escape. You can contact 0966-008616 or 0973-736865. T's and P's apply.
It's 8:04 on Hot. The heat is on. This time check is brought to you by Zanaco. Now you can get a salary advance with Zanaco. Simply open a salary account or use your existing salary advance and quickly access an advance between 1,000 and 50,000 kwacha with flexible repayment options of up to 3 months. Now to apply, visit www.zanaco.co.zm and click online loan application portal. Zanaco, putting you first.
Red Hot Breakfast from 6 to 9 hours.
Yes, the Red Hot Breakfast here on Hot 87.7. Now, remember our breakfast partner for Fridays is Cubana at Arcades. Now, if you need a space for a business meeting without the boardroom pressure, well, Cubana offers a comfortable professional setting, perfect for meetings and casual discussions. With great food, attentive service, free Starlink Wi-Fi, complimentary coffee or tea for all your breakfast meals, a calm atmosphere, Cubana turns meetings into experiences. They open daily at 9 hours, so head over to Cubana today. So yeah, that's...
We have a meeting.
We have a meeting
at 10 hours there, yeah. A very serious business meeting that will be at Cubana at Arcades.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, lots of food there as well. At that business meeting that we're going to have at
A lot of business talk.
Business talk. Very, very important.
Head over to Cubana today.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back to the Red Hot Breakfast Show. It's a special Labor Day edition featuring Brian Mundubile, the president of the Tonse Alliance. Now, Honorable Mundubile, before the break, you spoke about the gap between passion and actual implementation when it comes to job creation and the need to put Zambians at the center of policy. But to be fair, there are those who would argue that this administration has made some strides. To their defense, one can say that UPND administration has created thousands of public service jobs. Teachers, nurses, soldiers, and also police officers have all been recruited. What do you make of this mass recruitment into the civil service?
Yes, I agree. There's been some mass recruitment within the civil service. But you see, employment in the civil service is limited. There are limited spaces that can be created in the public service. Ideally, job creation should be focused in the private sector. The numbers in the private sector can be exponential because as the industry grows, as your industrialization grows, the numbers also grow. In terms of public sector, you have limits. Yes, it's a commendable job. 30,000 teachers, nurses, and all that. It's a commendable job. But my statement was referring to the many policies that government was coming up with in the private sector. If you look at the levels of investments in the mining sector, the numbers are huge. They're in billions of dollars. But when you look at employment created in those particular sectors, the numbers are minimal. If you look at policies in the agricultural sector and how they translate to job creation, it is much to be desired. There are many other sectors like that. So the focus will not necessarily be in the public sector because you have limited space, but to be able to enlarge the private sector, to increase opportunity and expand opportunity in the private sector through industrialization. It's only then that the numbers can be exponential. That's the point that I made.
Okay. Now in Zambia today, many youths don't have. What's your general assessment of this Mundubile app that was launched recently?
Well, it's a very good initiative, so to speak, but the app is just an enabler. The jobs have to exist. If you don't industrialize, if you don't expand or increase the opportunities through industrialization to create jobs, even if you have an app, there are no jobs. Okay, so the use of the app there will not be appreciated. So the starting point, even as the app is there, is for government to come up with policies that will introduce job opportunities. So at Tonse, we are saying the job opportunities will come through industrialization. In Pemba, there's a famous saying, Imbwa wayumi na noko kwete kumino. We are referring to the low-hanging fruits. We want to talk about the easy solutions. We will not talk about complicated graphs and things of that nature. I gave an example earlier of jobs that will be created in the agriculture sector, and this will come through the agro-processing industries. You are looking at value addition in agriculture, value chains in the mining sector. So the app as an enabler, as a platform to be able to look at different skills and advertise jobs is a welcome idea. But the primary objective should be to create jobs and then advertise them on the app.
All right. Well, some of the sections of the labor market feel the process of obtaining employment permits for foreigners doing jobs that Zambians can do is very porous. How can we protect some jobs from foreign infiltration?
Yes, there is need to tighten the controls and systems there. Ideally, the immigration is there as a gate to be able to control. They should only give permits to foreigners who possess skills that may not necessarily be available locally, as it were. So there is need for a stringent scrutinization process to ensure that all those who are getting work permits indeed possess skills that Zambians do not have. And these permits should be given for a limited time. There should also be a deliberate policy to ensure that these particular skills are also transferred to Zambians. The permits are given for a limited time on condition that at some point Zambians would have picked up those particular skills and continue working at that. I'll go further to say that there is really need to look at the operations of the immigration department. It's indeed a source of concern. Yeah, in as much as we are worried about workers that are coming in to take up jobs that should be picked up by Zambians, I also think the department is very porous. I've called out the Anti-Corruption Commission to look out and get involved with to take interest in what is happening at the immigration department. There's a lot of corruption, and I'm not shy away from calling it out for what it is. What we have today, we have very close family members related to ministers in government today who formed companies that are doing work permits. Deliberately and by design, those that are coming in normally and the straight way have their applications rejected, so that they engage these private consultants who are family members of ministers serving government today. And through those appeals, these applications are actually approved. You'll be interested to know that they are charging between $10,000 and $20,000 per permit. This is a fact. The Anti-Corruption Commission cannot claim not to know this. Officials in government, they even know the people that I'm talking about today, who have set up companies. It's a collusion between senior officers in the immigration department and the officials at the Ministry of Home Affairs, colluding to frustrate genuine applications. Genuine investors coming to apply for work permits are frustrated, and those that fail to pay up these amounts on the side have had these applications rejected. So there are two things there. Number one, we should protect the Zambian worker. If the skills are available in Zambia, those applications should be rejected. But at the same time, for those genuine investors that are applying for permits on behalf of their workers, they should just be given permits for a limited period without having to pay $10,000 or $20,000 on the side. I'm sure you heard even Ambassador Gonzalez on his the farewell speech. He made reference to the happenings at the immigration department. So it's a very serious concern indeed.
Speaking of the outgoing U.S. ambassador to Zambia, he made an accusation that successive Zambian governments have just been paying lip service to the fight against corruption. Let's play part of that speech, and then we get your reaction.
We set U.S.-Zambia relations last July. America has redoubled our efforts to support robust Zambian agency. We've availed billions of dollars to support tangible investments and reforms to catalyze Zambia's success. We've offered expert support to inform reforms that would systematically benefit both the Zambian people and their many friends from around the world without bias, without favor. Sadly, so many of our overtures and goodwill have been met with, well, to use the most persistent and notorious of the Zambian government's responses, join me, noted, with thanks. But appointing a Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission who herself was actively under investigation at the time of her appointment, and her admonishment to her intentionally under-resourced agency not to investigate senior government officials only cripple hopes.
Now, Mr. Mundubile, what's your reaction to some of the things that Ambassador Gonzalez said in his farewell speech there?
Yes, he raised a number of issues bordering on the fight against corruption, thefts in the public service, as it were. Now, these are issues that we've raised in the past. We had talked about the fight against corruption. We had talked about how the Anti-Corruption Commission needed to up their game, improve the operations of the Anti-Corruption Commission, or allow government to allow the SEC to operate independently so that the fight against corruption can be credible. These voices were ignored. Time and again, we raised these matters on the floor of the House, and they were simply ignored. Now we are getting it from the outgoing ambassador, who worked very closely with government. If at all people thought we were politicking, there we are now. It's coming from a top official, top US official, who's leaving this country. So if you look at the image of government today, insofar as the fight against corruption is concerned, if you look at the work of government today, insofar as thefts or in the health sector are concerned, and what measures government has put in place, it makes very sad reading. He was very categorical. He talked about these thefts not only involving U.S. drugs or the medicines funded by the U.S. government, but also by other governments. He also mentioned that they had made formal complaints to government, that made formal complaints to the president, and nothing has been done. So when we talk about political persecution in the name of the fight against corruption, this is exactly what we meant. Where government had credible evidence of their own ministers, their own government officials, reports coming from the U.S. Embassy presenting forensic reports on how these systematic thefts were done, on how this corruption was done, there's been no arrest at all. Nobody to date has been charged. So today, we have confirmation. We called the UPND government a corrupt government. We called their leaders corrupt leaders, and many people thought we were merely political. The speech by the ambassador yesterday only confirms what we already knew. And the Zambians must take time to listen to the US ambassador. There's something he consistently said. He said something has to change. Something has to change. And I agree with him. What has to change is leadership. What has to change is government. The UPND government cannot fight corruption. They've been very deliberate. They will put someone who is facing corruption charges at the helm of the SEC. It's very deliberate. It's designed. They'll go to the Auditor General's office. They'll put an Auditor General who does not qualify to be an Auditor General. These are some of the ways, the systematic way the UPND has been covering up for corruption or indeed thefts in many government departments as it were. So Zambians should take time to listen to what the Gonzalez had to say. I mean, if the government can go to an extent of ignoring a report on the pollution that happened on the Copper Belt that affect many lives, not now. There are many lives that will be affected into the future. Children who will be born from those areas, from parents who may have consumed products, water, from that pollution, will actually be affected for many generations to come. And government downplayed that. There were calls on government to act on that particular pollution, but government doesn't just downplay it. And Zambian lives into the future will be highly affected. So what sort of government do we have that does not even care about its own people? That's the situation that we have today.
All right, so in case you're just joining us, we have Tonse Alliance President Honorable Brian Mundubile joining us on the Red Hot Breakfast this morning. You've been sending us your voice notes. Let's play them back, and we will open the phone lines on 0974-870-877, 0950-955-877. Do send us a voice note or give us a call.
For me, it's I think it's a question that I think I deserve an answer for. Honorable Mundubile, when are you going to come up with one thing? Because already we are seeing that as the opportunity is disgruntled. Everyone is running their own show. 20 of you want to challenge. And we've been talking about unity. Does it mean that you've not listened to the voices of the Zambians, or you, within your patches, you're just stubborn, all of you? You don't want to come together? Because to tell you the truth, if at least 2 or 3 of you come together, you're more powerful than the ruling party. Right? So please, now Maripla 100 pin, we still want to see unity. Not if. Because the moment I heard that 20 of you submitted, I even lost hope. I even lost hope, to be honest with you. I don't even feel like it would be worth it for.
All right, before we can get a response from the president of the Tonse Alliance, let's pay some bills and we'll continue our conversation here on the Red Hot Breakfast.
Every child learns differently, and every child deserves the chance to shine. Every child can learn. Brought to you by Rosepark Schools Group. We explore what learning support is and how our inclusive approach helps children with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, and other learning differences succeed right inside the mainstream classroom. With guidance from qualified medical professionals, our learning support team follows 3 key steps: assessment, personalized implementation, and continuous monitoring. When support is tailored, children grow in confidence, ability, and independence. Discover how children with additional learning needs can learn by tuning into Hot FM every Monday at 16:10 hours. Every Child Can Learn by Rosepark Schools Group, supporting parents, empowering children.
Just run a business, build something
We'll take a picture of the comments from the other side, just in case there's a credible question.
For founders and business leaders, powered by Leap Networks, happening from the 5th to the 8th of May at New Metro Arcades from 17:30 to 20:30 hours daily. This powerful experience is designed to help you scale your business through access to capital, mentorship, strategic networking, and real market opportunities. Learn directly from top industry leaders. Oscar Chavula, Chairman of Hawk Media Group; Abraham Cabasso, Founder of Leap Networks; Charity Lumpa, Visionary Global Leader; Frank Banda, Founder of Wirepick; Senior Counsel Carol Mushitu, Managing Partner at Mushitu Advocates. Registration
So we
is
have
only
Bernard and
$1
the guys in there.
Limited
Tell them to
spaces
just
available.
read through.
Secure your spot now
If there's
by
anything,
sending
then
WhatsApp
come
to
through.
0979-333-751. Excel
They must be able to-
2026,
When
where
I-
real businesses scale.
When I click like on the thing, it's just showing me what is coming in like at the moment.
So you can say what you see.
On the phone.
Do you have it open? No, on the laptop.
On the laptop. Oh, okay.
What the fuck? Just mute the tab.
that not show?
You need to do it on a laptop.
You need immediate access to your money after your loan has been approved. We are the best in town. Well, we got the best offers for you here at Express Trade. Apply today and access up to 10,000 kwacha to address your financial goals and expected expenses. Enjoy a special 0% interest rate on the first loan. It's a special way of carrying you into the Express Trade family.
Yeah.
Express Trade. Express Trade.
Did you respond to that voice note?
Milk and milkshake. The shake that moves.
Red Hot Breakfast from 6 to 9 hours.
We have the president of the Tonse Alliance with us on the Red Hot Breakfast. That's Mr. Brian Mundubile. It's a Labor Day special interview that we have with him. We're live here on Hot 87.7 in Lusaka, live across, syndicated across different radio stations around Zambia. We played that voice note before we went on a break, Mr. Mundubile. What's your response to opposition unity coming together to contest in August?
Yes, thank you. To my dear brother, I want to say that you shouldn't give up on us just yet. We are busy talking, like you rightly put it. Having paid application fees or nomination fees does not mark the end of our negotiations. So we're busy negotiating in the background to ensure that we reduce the number of candidates that will be on the ballot. So to the many Zambians that have shown this concern, my reaction is that we are talking, and very soon there will be very big announcements of us coming together. We may not achieve that 100%. It's not possible that all the opposition leaders are going to collapse into one. But like my dear brother said in the voice note, if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 out of the number came together, they will actually come up with a team that will be more forceful and bigger than the current government. So our promise is that sooner than later, in not too distant a future, there will be big announcements of us coming up together as opposition leaders. So please do not give up on us just yet.
What do you say to the people who criticize the opposition coming together just for the sake of removing the current government? I've seen a lot of notions around that being something that they say doesn't make sense because people have different ideologies, and so coming together may not be the best idea. Everyone has their own ideologies.
Yeah.
So
it's more, they say it's more of an anti-democracy move.
Yeah, not at all. Maybe looked at from a different angle. If you look at our country today, our country needs a national renewal. Our country needs a restoration. It's actually urgent. So the people that are calling for opposition unity are simply saying it will be very difficult for an average worker, an average civil servant, an average miner, driver, taxi driver, younger driver to survive another 5 years beyond 2026. So it's urgent that the UPND should be sent out of power so that another government comes in. So in order to do that, this is observation by the Zambian people. They're saying let's not dilute our chances of achieving that particular objective. So coming together in this particular case is necessary because Zambians can't wait to get the UPND out of power. That is the reason why they've been calling for opposition unity. It's not for the sake, yes, it's for the sake of taking the UPND out of power because of the many failures. And if you listen to the US ambassador yesterday, you actually realize it's very urgent. There is total failure, total collapse of governance at that level, and there is need for renewal. There is need for a new government to come into place to be able to restore our democratic environment, to be able to restore our judicial independence, restore our parliamentary independence, and indeed restore our Christian values, as it were. So this is why many Zambians are in a hurry to get the opposition together.
all right, remember if you're watching us live on Facebook, you can leave a comment there if you have a question or a contribution, and then we'll read that here for our guests. Call us now.
Good morning, if you try to phone. Good morning, what's your name? All right, William, please go ahead with your contribution. Question.
Mr. William Piri, good morning to you.
All right, William, thank you for your call.
Okay, William, so get your number. I will send you a text that we can have a side conversation. Thank you, William.
All right, there we go. We have a comment from Facebook.
All right, so we have a comment from Derek Banda. He says, Ambassador Gonzalez's departure speech should be understood less as diplomatic anger and more as a stress test of Zambia's governance architecture. Whether one views it as harsh, justified, or politically uncomfortable, it forces a central question. Can Zambia transition from aid-supported development to self-sustaining institutional integrity? That's a comment there from Derek Banda on Facebook.
All right. Give us a call, 0974-870-877.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Come on, Ola.
What's the name?
Zina what the boundary?
Zina mbondani. Ndimwe wandani zina yanu. Ndimwe wandani zina stambele zina. Vasa mchimba, okay. Okay, funsani.
So we lost that one. Let's pick up another call, then we'll allow our guests to respond. Hello, good morning. Morning. What's your name? You said John?
Noel.
Noel.
Yeah.
Yes, Noel. Please go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Please go ahead.
Good morning, Noah. How are you doing? Yes, long time indeed. I hope you're well. Indeed.
right, we need you to conclude, please. We need you to conclude. Mr. Mundubile, your response to those calls.
Thank you. Maybe I'll start with Noah. He's very emotional about this, and no, I agree with you. Earlier, I answered a question that came through a voice note. We in the opposition are busy talking. Like I said earlier, the fact that many aspiring candidates have paid their nomination fees does not mark the end of these negotiations. For your comfort, Noel, I want to tell you that I'm talking to Honorable Harry Kalava, I'm talking to my dear brother Makebi Zulu, I'm talking to Comrade Chilufya, I'm talking to Mulenga Fube, and many other opposition political leaders. You know, Siame, that already in Tonse we have 16 registered political parties. And you are talking about very strong politicians. You have the likes of State Council Chifumu Banda. You are talking about the likes of Peter Sinkamba. You are talking about the likes of Mwenya Musenge. We've been able to bring all these strong men and women together in a bid to come up with a strong opposition. So when you say you want to stand alone, Noel, maybe that may not be exactly true. As Tonse president, I am not alone. I've got 16 party presidents behind me and another 17 civil society organization leaders behind me. But that is not to say we have closed the doors. I've gone to that extent to explain to you that these efforts are already being made. So we have many other politicians that were standing on the side that have come to Tonse. We've come to be together and work with. If we didn't make these efforts at Tonse, maybe instead of 20 aspiring candidates paid, today we would have had 42 or 43. So the number 20 looks huge, but we have reduced this number because of the many other presidents that we are working together with. So we are going ahead we are continuing discussions to make sure that we bring the other presidents together. So Noel, please don't be discouraged. This is work in progress. It's something that we are actively working on. So before I come to Mr. Samchimba, I want to talk to William Piri. His concern was on corruption. Yes, William, the fight against corruption has collapsed in Zambia. There is no fight against corruption. That's what I want you to know. You are just giving us examples of people asking for as much as 20,000 kwacha whenever you apply for a job. This is what is happening at the Immigration Department. Ministers' children forming companies that are milking millions of dollars from our foreign investors, as it were. As Tonse will introduce reforms at the Anti-Corruption Commission. Firstly, the reporting channels will change. The report from the SEC will be presented to Parliament and the President at the same time. This is in order to introduce transparency at the Anti-Corruption Commission. We will also ensure that those that will be appointed to preside over the affairs of the SEC will come to SEC with clean hands. You heard for yourself from Ambassador Gonzalez that the person at the helm of the SEC was a person who had some active investigations against them. And President Hakainde Hichilema deliberately and by design decided to appoint that particular person to be head of the SEC. And as a result of that, they are unable to prosecute the many ministers under President Hakainde Hichilema that face corruption charges today. If you look at the speech by Comrade Gonzalez, it highlights a number of corruption cases. It highlights a number of theft cases by public servants. But nothing has been done. The police is not moving. The SEC is not moving. We've talked about the collapse of government institutions. This is exactly what we meant. So our promise to you, Mr. William Piri, is that we're going to fight corruption through transparency. And transparency will come through the reforms that we institute at the Anti-Corruption Commission. So the Derek Banda wondered whether this country can survive without aid. Yes, Mr. Derek Banda, the starting point maybe is can this country generate enough money to support its many activities, whether it's in the health sector, in the education sector, and many other social sectors as it were? The answer is yes. Once there is proper management and proper leadership, you have in the reports today, if you look at the FIC reports have reported, for instance, illicit financial flows amounting up to $10 billion in the past 5 years. So if you take this figure and you look at the aid that we are receiving, the aid that we are depending on, which we are very, very grateful for, to our cooperating partners, you find that the figures may actually be below the figures that are reported. So if there are tight controls, if we seal the leakages, if we seal some of these corrupt activities, as it were, and the resources are properly channeled, many of the sectors can be financed from locally generated revenues, as it were. So yes, we need aid. We can graduate and be weaned off this aid when there's proper management, proper leadership, corrupt-free leadership in government that will be able to employ the resources to look after these many sectors. So there is enough money from locally generated activities that can support most of our activities today. Remember, Ambassador Gonzalez made reference to the many efforts that were made towards capacity building. They were hoping that after some time, there would be enough capacity in the health sector to be able to stand on its own. But up to now, the moment they withdrew aid, the moment they froze aid, amounting to $50 million, many of the systems actually collapsed, meaning that the capacity building efforts that have been made by our cooperating partners are not yielding fruit. There has to be change of mindset. There has to be a paradigm shift starting from the leadership on top to be able to implement this. So Mr. Samuchimba believes that corruption has been fought. Maybe Mr. Samuchimba lives in a different country. Mr. Samuchimba, I know that you are a happy man. You sounded like one. You are definitely happy. You are enjoying yourself. Sometimes they say in English, don't put on green glasses and think the world is green. So your circumstances may not be the same as circumstances of William Piri, who can't get a job today because people are demanding for money from him. We are happy for you, Mr. Samuchimba, that you're enjoying yourself. I'm hoping that you're enjoying yourself from properly earned money, given the levels of corruption that we're witnessing today. So to answer you, Mr. Samuchimba, the cases of corruption have gone high, and this is not coming from me. The index has shown that the level of corruption is now higher under the UPND than it was before. So you may wish to check that and understand that today we have so many problems because of corruption under the UPND. You've talked about cadarism. Like I said, Mr. Samuchimba, don't put on green glasses and think the world is green. We have witnessed a number of cases, violent cases, of cadarism under the UPND. In some cases, we've seen police being beaten in broad daylight by UPND cadres. This happened in Tisamba. We've seen a district administration officer in Kasama beaten by UPND cadres. We've seen them lock offices for many public officers, as it were. People have been injured and abducted. Cases of abduction. You talk about my young brother Joe Black Apple, abducted, brutalized by UPND cadres. But what should be understood, Mr. Samuchimba, that is even worse, is that there's cadarism in government offices, cadarism in public offices, which actually makes things worse. So many of the government functions are paralyzed because the offices are actually occupied by cadres who do not qualify to be in those offices. And Mr. Samuchimba, I want to promise you that as Tonse, we are going to come up with a merit-based recruitment approach, and we are going to depoliticize the civil service. Cadres will have their places outside government offices, as it were. So as you talk about cadarism, Mr. Samuchimba, please know that in the coming government, as we change government this year, there will be no more cadarism in government, as it were. Thank you very much.
All right, in case of just joining us, we have Tonse Alliance President Honorable Brian Mundubile joining us on the Red Hot Breakfast. We have more questions coming in from our Facebook page. This one is coming in from Baton Boya. He says, Mr. President, what are your plans for Mpika, especially with the gold discovered in the district? Are you going to chase the youths who are usually referred to as illegal miners? That's a question there coming in from Burton. And Kathy Tembo is saying, good morning. Good morning, Honorable Mundubile. Copper Belt is in a mess. It's becoming a ghost province, so as Southern Province. There is so much rhetoric than action on the ground. We have laws to remove public holidays, but no laws on job creation. What do we expect in the first year of your presidency? That's Kathy Tembo there on Facebook.
All right, now before Mr. Mundubile can respond, let's pay our bills and we'll continue.
Milk and Milkshake, the shake that moves. Picture this, you're hungry and you're craving something different, something with a crunch.
Oh, wow, that's perfect. Crunchy and packed with flavor and so much taste.
Grab the patch, mash it, crunch it. You know how we do. Introducing Yo Crunch, the spark you never stop crunching.
Yeah, because I'm not saying you.
Feel the crunch.
I can see that the picture is
Brought to you by Yo-Yo Fun Snacks.
it's consistent, but
Introducing the
there's no new comment.
1.5 kg refill pack designed to fill your bucket and save you big. Grab your 1.5 kg refill and keep the fresh going. Aloha, say hello to fresh.
Are you ready to take the wheel of your future? Join Ziva Driving School, where confidence meets the road. We offer professional lessons in C1 light motor vehicles, Class B manual and B automatic, affordable, flexible, and designed just for you. From theory in class to getting a professional license, on-the-road learning, and lastly, a full driver's license. We do it the right way. Don't just dream of driving, drive. Enroll today at Ziva Driving School by calling 0979-665-300 or 0776-245-039. Visit our head office at plot number 2063 Zenga Road, Woodlands, Lusaka. Because every journey begins with the right training. Ziva Driving School. Drive smart, drive bold.
Some days, test your limits. Fit Sports Drink.
I'm throwing just this thing about the Yango.
Electrolytes for hydration.
I'm throwing just one more because of the time. You've seen how much time we have. I don't think the Yango drivers complain.
Go ahead.
The Red Hot Breakfast is brought to you by Standard Chartered Bank. Here for good.
0848 on Hot, the heat is on. This is a Red Hot Breakfast with Chrome's, Legacy, and Peasy. We are known as the trio together, and we are joined by President of the Tonse Alliance, Honorable Brian Mundubile, is joining us on the show. Honorable Mundubile, before you tackle those two, I would like to add one more question from Maxwell Msumuko, who is a Yango driver. He says, good morning, the trio, and good morning, Mr. President. This is Maxwell from Kabanana. What measures will you put in place for us Yango drivers in terms of the pricing? Because currently we are suffering. Just imagine I pick up a client from Kabanana to Lilai, Police College, and it's about 27 to 31 kilometers, and the price was 125 kwacha. So imagine the Yango people removed 18.81% from that same 125 kwacha. Fuel is at 27.15 kwacha per liter. Armor bundles and talk time to communicate with the passenger are all included in that.
All right. Well, Mr. Mundubile, you can respond in addition to the submissions that we took note of earlier.
Thank you very much. Baton Boalia is asking about the gold mines and wondering whether we introduce guns. Baton Boalia, when imisepela uko kukanyelele kumpika njeranda ne imisepela kukikonge kumufumbwe imisepela kukasenseli kumwinilunga imisepela kuchingola nemisepela kukitwe ngamwamona ama efforts government yapanga ukutamfya imisepela ishaifwaile shaisangila gold iyange effort government yabikilemo ukubombela shile imisepela kushafuilisha na mamashini na ama measures aya safety na finbi ngabengi bakusukilemo ifwenga batonse tasokaleisa nemfuti uko musangile mwebene muisangile umkuba na ngugo nokwamba okula mitamfya ifu tukala chitanga government ifwenga government tukamona okutila imisepela na chisangira na chifuaila na chisanga gold finshi imisepela chirefuaya imisepela chirefuaya kwa equipment imisepela chirefuaya kwa ma licenses imisepela chirefuaya kwa uteko bwingilepo nokumona gold ya panga ilishani imisepela chirefuaya market babaya bakapeta bakalamba abengala chita gold kuli denchende ifo muchisungu tulelando kuti we are going to formalize this small scale mining sector so that liramule amukwimba you are working with dignity. One, we would have trained you in mine safety, we would have trained you in environmental safety, we would have trained you in financial management through backward and forward integration, through an aggregator that will come whether through IDC, CEC, or the private sector, who is going to set up in that area. He will advance you all these things and ensure that you are working in a formal sector. Mulei mama baton na weksutu wino na motoka mwafuma kunganda mwaya kumaini kumienu na mkwatana abanchito abale mibombela mwawelela mo efutile kuchita ebyo ayama initiatives katulelota yo tuambilo kulanda qualifikale and we were lucky elio Ghanaian president Aishileisa ngwat na kugana they have implemented similar measures. Within 7 months they were able to raise $10 billion from small scale mining in gold. So to assure you, Babaton, in footage kalasangwa kuma gold mine, ni footage kusta protect mwemisepela mwalechita mine against intrusion by the foreigners who may be coming from neighboring countries. 10 footage kala misonta ukutiwe ngami kumipika yo. There is nothing wrong that you're doing. You've just discovered a resource given to you by God. Government's job is to ensure that you are safe as you're mining. You are licensed as you're mining. And indeed, you have capacity to be able to mine and make a living out of it. As a matter of fact, mulea fo uteko, mwebe ne mwa isangila. Ila government ile filo kupanga, isha nchito sha kupele imisepela sha sanga. It's actually a favor. Government should be very quick to move in and ensure that these sectors are formalized. So under Tonse ba Baton Bwalia, be assured that imibombele ikabeya iwela sana sana. So Kathy Tembo aleti copper belt is in a mess, including Southern Province. Kathy, I agree with you. I come to the copper belt often. Ni mona efechili. Uko copper belt ifintu fingina filuwana. Number one, napo abe ne abulumendo nabakashana vale ifwaila. Bali sawa fulunganya. Etabawa fulunganya for any good reason. Kuba fulunganya pantu nabakwata abanenso bali ku government lelo nabakwata balikwata imibele ishibi isha kuti mwatamfye misepela muti yo trefu kuchitefi abale bomba ma government officials ebale ingila po ukupo kama mine po kama dump sites ama Black Mountain efya shala. So kanshi mwe misepela kopa belt ko kuchingwa na kukitwe na kuchila bomba na kumufurila vya fyonse ba mipoka tukabiwesesha ba investor tufile tule bapela greenfield mine ya kuyambila tatu akakwate ba investor baka isamkula palaula ma dump sites yo ifyo fyabe na Zambia imisepela bashikwete makaye nene aya kwamba mine yanyu ni ba investor ba musango shani abakuti wale samkula palaula mwabomba banabo investor wina filo kwisayambo kwambo kwimba from zero. So kanshi iyo ama measures copper belt Kathy, we want to assure you that we will bring up legislation that will guarantee business up to 50% to Zambians in the mining sector. You know that that sector alone is worth about $5 billion per year. So 2.5 billion worth of business to Zambians will change the copper belt completely. Zambians alone balikwata capacity, balikwata training na kale bali wombele kuma mining ko. They will start manufacturing bolts and nuts from there, ball bearings from there, and many other support industries are going to come up on the copper belt. So when we talk about industrial value chains within the copper belt, this is what we're talking about. We'll force legislation, we'll ensure we pass legislation that to compel the mining houses to give business to you and many others so that you can create employment as it were. So yes, the copper belt is in a mess. The southern province also is in a mess. You may be interested to know that there is export of lithium from southern province that is done illegally. People mining lithium and it's being done secretly. People think that it's export of sand. Government officials, highly supported by government, mines there which you can't access. There's a lot of mining activities that are going on and it's not disclosed. That is not how government is supposed to work. The lithium deposits discovered in southern province should have created enough jobs for my brothers and sisters in southern province today if these particular activities were being done transparently. Yeah, we know that southern province is normally badly hit by drought and they lose their animals, they lose their crop. Once they've discovered minerals such as lithium, those are supposed to come in to redeem the situations as it were. But our greedy and corrupt leaders have instead putting their friends to mine and corruptly export lithium out of southern province. Now that is going to stop, Kathy. That is definitely going to stop. All those operations will be transparent. They'll be able to create employment for our people in those particular areas. Yango drivers. Yes, your concerns are noted, Maxwell. So
we're almost out of time, so we need you to just be as brief as possible with that question. Yeah.
Yes, so Maxwell, one of the things that we will do that will ensure that there are upward adjustments in terms of prices is what we call sectoral minimum wages. Because even if you're driving your own vehicle, you need to be on a salary. You should be able to make enough to pay yourself or pay your driver and also have enough return on that particular investment of the vehicle. So once we attend to sectoral wages, say of drivers, by setting up the minimum amount one can get paid as a driver, it will automatically put pressure on the pricing for these rates for Yango. And also, we are going to introduce what we are calling programs we call Drive to Own. So many of our youths are driving other people's vehicles as Yango. So as government to come up with empowerment programs of Drive to Own, where you be given a vehicle, run it as a Yango with a view to own it after some time, after you've paid back a certain amount of money. So Maxwell, you will not be left out. You will not be left out of the transformation that will come through Tonse. By setting up those sector wages, it will automatically adjust the rates for Yango so that you're able to bank a decent return on your investment and also be able to pay your drivers a decent wage.
Well, Honorable Mundubile, you've heard directly from the Zambian people their concerns, their expectations, and also what they're looking for. Why should the working class of Zambia vote for the Tonse Alliance?
Well, the Zambians should vote for the Tonse Alliance because the Tonse Alliance has the Zambians at heart. Our driving compass is collapsed into 4 letters, HOPE, hope. It is hard work, open government, a people-centered government, and economic transformation. So we are driven, that's our compass. Our compass is hope. H for hard work, O for open government, P for a people-centered government, and E for economic transformation. So that is the reason why Zambians must vote for Tonse, because Tonse has Zambians at the center.
Well, Mr. Mundubile, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you joining us on Labor Day.
Thank you very much. I thought I stewed on an hour. I really enjoyed myself. I didn't have time after. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
We enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, our guest has been